Okay, so this is new. I absolutely did not expect the upcoming single-player action FPS Squadron 42 to be filled with that many gameplay features, also side quests and missions, but thanks to a bunch of details that people have seen just now, this game is looking and sounding like one of the most ambitious of the past few years, without a single doubt. It's awesome to see the improvements they've made, and I'm glad that they're actually not scared of actively talking about it more and more. Squadron 42 is part of the Star Citizen universe and has been in development for about 10 years now, with a bunch of famous actors and ambitious features that no other game has tried yet. So without further ado, let me just get right into those gameplay details and make sure you guys give your support onto this video to beat the YouTube algorithm. Now first of all, before we get into those details, Squadron 42 is a standalone single player campaign in the Star Citizen universe. Fully playable offline and blending spaceship dogfighting with on-foot, first-person combat and puzzle solving, where you play a new recruit in the United Empire of Earth Navy, which is an elite military unit fighting to protect humanity against both aliens and bandits. You'll live aboard a massive capital ship, and from there you'll be able to explore the ship, talk to people and expand your relationships with them. Also get little quests from some of these people and get dispatched to various missions, which will take place both in the cockpit of various customizable spaceships and on foot. It's roughly a 50-50 split between the two. You can expect a mixture of large-scale space battles and first-person shooting, and some missions will have multiple paths to their conclusions. As well as the overarching story, it is said you'll get a chance to define your character through the actions that you take, and a dynamic reputation system that changes your standing with various NPCs throughout the story. The head of CIG, Chris Roberts, said it'll take around 20 to 25 hours to complete, and it's also said the game is growing more and more, so the hours could go up. So it is said that each level in this game will offer multiple ways to enter, exit and complete objectives. It's not just one linear line that you have to follow. There are multiple places to explore, but always one story to follow. It's not necessarily open world, but it lets you explore almost as you wish, with different unique locations. You can also go right into the action if you want, but you can also completely avoid combat by going a different route with your ship and float over the base to slip quietly into an airlock with your character, for example. If you do get spotted, enemies will call in reinforcements, but they won't magically appear from thin air like a lot of games do. No, they will be nearby, in ships for example, and will fly in to help. But if you manage to sneak onto the base quietly, you might be able to take over its AA guns and blast that backup out of the sky, leaving the base helpless as you begin your assault, says an interview with PCGamer.com. Squadron 42 will take place in a small area of Star Citizen's overall galaxy, but that's small in a galactic sense. It's a massive chunk of space, and the team promises will be open to explore for you. They say you'll be able to fly freely between stations and star systems, pursuing both the main story and secondary optional missions. The devs also talk briefly about so-called secondary stories that will populate this world. These self-contained narratives will, he says, be open to interpretation. They didn't really go into details about this, only that it will be very fun. One of the really big things about Squadron 42 are the ships itself, where each and every single one of them is said to be hyper-realistic to the max. If your ship is under attack, the lights will flicker and smoke and spark burst from the interior. On larger ships, this means you'll have to navigate through the chaos to reach engineering and repair the damage. The PC Gamer interview goes on to say that between the more open-ended missions, there will be a cinematic storyline to follow that's more in line with traditional linear first-person shooters. These enclosed set pieces will, if all goes to plan, slot neatly into the sandbox and feel like a natural part of your progression throughout the game, says the interview. Your home in this game is a vast capital ship that's like a spacefaring aircraft carrier, and you'll return here regularly throughout the game. Over time, the devs want this place to feel like home. You'll learn its layout, the routines of its crew, and the personalities of your comrades. On a number of occasions, they compared Squadron 42 to the Wing Commander series, but on a much grander scale.
Let's ready some extra ice packs out of storage. Whenever gunners are on full rotation, you can always count on at least one of them getting hurt.
They are also working on a conversation system that will, they say, see you forging meaningful relationships with the cast, and not always positive ones. You'll have to determine how much or little someone likes you through their performance and more, but they haven't shown this part of the game yet, so maybe it disappeared or maybe it's still there. As we speak, there is an absolute ton of developers working on this single player game, almost more than Star Citizen itself, as it seems they take this universe very seriously. And with all these major actors in it, it seems it won't be a little game that one will forget in an instant. For more on Squadron 42, make sure you guys like this video right now and subscribe to stay tuned.
Give you override permissions, and there's a lot involved in that. It won't happen quickly.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Everything you see during the campaign has been heavily inspired by the classics of 70s and 80s sci-fi, but with a modern twist. We want everything you see to feel like it has a soul, its own personality, and tells of a history long before you arrived.